So we're going to move into some exercises that will help develop your own kind inner voice, get to know it, and really mostly have fun. We're going to start with some exercises that involve relaxing and imagining, because the powerhouse of our inner mind is our imagination. It's not our logical mind, which has its own role, but our imagination is the powerhouse. We're going to then move into a model of the mind that'll help explain why these imagining exercises are so powerful. And we're going to end with some goal setting and a fascinating energy technique that can help clear away obstacles of the sort that we encounter in a lot of areas in our life. So what we're going to do now is actually prepare for an eyes closed relaxation exercise. It's very fun, very relaxing. If you're at home and you're watching this recording, I hope you'll do this exercise, because watching other people do exercises doesn't give you much benefit. And the way I've designed the class, actually, if you do them the first time through when you watch the recording, you'll get much more out of it than watching the exercise and doing it later. So if you need to pause, you can pause. The exercise involves getting comfortable, closing your eyes, relaxing and imagining. And what we'll be doing is imagining a kitchen. The kitchen we use because it allows us to use all of our senses. What do we see? What do we feel? What do we hear? What do we taste? What do we smell? It's a good way to just warm up and explore the imagination. And then as we move forward in the class, we'll use all that knowledge we gain from this exercise to develop the kind inner voice using some of those similar tools. So as everybody does this, you'll have completely different experiences, one from the other, and what your neighbor has may be really different than yours. For me, I usually got little tiny glimmers, just a little teeny bit as someone was guiding me through an imagination exercises, whereas in classes I was taking, other people would have a whole big scene unfolding in great detail, and I was always jealous of those people. But what I learned over the years is my own style is just fine, and those little glimmers that I wasn't even sure about would come back to me later and be really helpful. So as you do this, the purpose is really to get to know your own imagination, and you may find that certain things are easier and other things are more challenging. And that's just as it should be. It's really a getting to know your imagination exercise, and as we move through, all of these are designed to just kind of help you get to know your own inner mind in ways that will be helpful. So whatever you experience is exactly the right thing. Even if your mind wanders and you're thinking about going to the kitchen and getting a drink of water, mind wandering is a normal, natural part of these exercises. So as you relax, as you let your mind go, just enjoy the journey without any shoulds going along with it. And I think you'll get the most out of this. So as you get comfortable, and as you notice your breathing and allow it to relax you just a bit, we're going to begin to explore a kitchen. Now you can choose a kitchen that has good feelings associated with it. It's fun to make this a kitchen from the past. It'll stretch your memory a little bit. Or you could make it a kitchen from the present, but it's better if you don't make it your everyday kitchen. That's almost too easy, doesn't require a lot of imagination. So think about a kitchen that you like the feeling of going there. Maybe a kitchen from your past. If childhood has some nice kitchens, then that's a fun place to go. And if not, then stay away from that, and you might go in your mind's eye to a friend's kitchen, somebody you like to go and just sit down and relax there. So explore. It's normal to have a hard time figuring out which kitchen. So explore, and it's okay if you move from one kitchen to another and eventually settle on a kitchen. When you've got a kitchen in your mind's eye and your imagination, just imagine that you're standing there at the entrance to the kitchen. If there's more than one entrance, you can choose. And as I talk and ask you to notice things, if you can't imagine it, that's fine. Just think about it or wonder about it. And if there's things I ask you to notice that aren't there, just pass right over it. So imagine now, as you stand at the entrance to the kitchen, notice where the sink is and the refrigerator. the stove, the oven. Notice if there are windows in the kitchen or in a room that you can see from the kitchen. Notice what you might see when you look out those windows and let it be any season you'd like it to be. Windows could be open or closed. Notice some colors in the kitchen, perhaps the walls or the cabinets or the floor. Perhaps there's something there that's a bright spot of color. Notice the sounds you might hear in the kitchen or in the rest of the house or out of doors. And just get the feel of the kitchen. Now imagine that there's something delicious cooking in the oven, something you really like, and it's not quite done. And you go ahead and go over to the oven and open it up and take a look at what's in the oven. Feel the warmth of the air. Take a smell. It'll be done shortly, but you can close the oven for now. And imagine that there's something cooking on the stove top. Also something delicious. It can be whatever you'd like. Take a smell, or stir or poke it. It'll be done very soon. We'll get back to those, but for now imagine that on a countertop or table there's a bowl of fruit, and on the top of the rest of the fruit there's a lemon. Next to the bowl of fruit there's a cutting board and a knife. And there's also an empty glass and a pitcher of cold water. So pick up the empty glass and pour yourself a glass of water, and then set it back down. Pick up the lemon and feel the texture of the lemon, the waxy skin of the lemon and the pores of the lemon, the bump on one end of the lemon. You might even roll the lemon between your hands and notice it's pretty heavy. It's probably a pretty juicy lemon. Then take the lemon and place it on the cutting board and cut it in half lengthwise. We're going to make some lemon wedges. As it falls open, there's a glistening grain, and the little drops of juice begin to make puddles on the cutting board. You can take one of the halves of the lemon and cut it in half lengthwise. So you have 2/4 of a lemon and a half of a lemon there, and pick up one of the quarters of the lemon. The juice might get on your fingers a little bit, but bring that lemon to your nose and smell the lemon, smell that tangy, tart smell. And then bring it to your mouth and touch just the tip of your tongue to the lemon so your tongue gets that tart, tangy taste. Then you can actually bite your teeth into the lemon so that the lemon juice flows over your tongue to the side taste buds and the back taste buds. So all of your mouth experiences the lemon. You can take the lemon out anytime you want and set it aside and pick up the glass of water and take a drink of water, a sip of water that just flows over your tongue and washes all the lemon juice out of your mouth. Take a nice long drink of water, and the water flows down your throat and settles in your stomach. It's nice and cool. And your mouth is now cleaned of all the lemon juice. You can drink as much as you'd like of the water. And then we're going to go back to the food. It's done now, it's ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be silent for about a minute, and in that time you can enjoy doing whatever you would like in the kitchen. You might make yourself a plate of food, or you might wander through the house or out of doors. It's just a time to enjoy using your imagination to explore this a little bit further. Or you may just let your mind drift and float as your body relaxes. We're going to bring this exercise to a close in just a moment, but I wanted to let you know that you could come back to this place in your mind's eye anytime you'd like. If it was fun to explore, you can explore some more. And before we complete the exercise, you can notice your own process. You can notice if it was challenging to choose a kitchen. That's pretty normal. You can notice if you did choose a kitchen. Could you see things in your mind's eye? That's a visual imagination. Many people have it, but not everybody. Notice if you could imagine feeling things, the texture of the lemon, the glass of water. Notice if the sounds were easy to imagine, and how about taste? And how about smell? So just knowing your own imagination process lets you follow the channels that are easiest for you to connect to. About 50% of people who do this exercise will actually find that they have a salivation response. It's a great example of how our imagination can speak to our body and say, hey, you better neutralize that acid of the lemon. And the body goes ahead and creates saliva when we just imagine biting into a lemon. So noticing whatever you discovered on this journey. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and return your mind to this time, this place, becoming aware of your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, go ahead, take a deep breath in and open your eyes back to this time and this place. So, welcome back from your kitchens. And whatever your experience was, if you got even a little glimmer of how does my imagination work, you may have been quite surprised at how vivid something could be that you may not have thought about for years. Now, our imaginations really are the powerhouses of our minds and of our experience in many cases. So as we go through this class and we talk about how can I create a kind inner voice, oftentimes we will be talking about things that are really using the imagination, because that is the language that will help us create that kind inner voice. What we're going to do next is a writing exercise, and it's going to start with some very practical things that we'll be writing, and then we'll move from there into another relaxation exercise that'll take kind of the practical information, move it through the imagination really into that inner mind where it can serve us very well. So if you have writing materials, you can pick them up. If you'd like me to get you anything, we can do that. So what we're going to do first is explore some of the areas in your life where you're comfortable. It doesn't have to be a productive endeavor. It can just be an area where you feel comfortable or not too uncomfortable. So it might be, for me, it might be taking a walk with my dog. It might be reading a book. For my niece, it might be cooking. She's wonderfully creative. For some people, it's riding their motorcycle or painting a room or doing a watercolor. Some people, it's bookkeeping. It doesn't really matter, but go ahead and take a moment to jot down anything that comes to your mind, which is an area where you just feel comfortable in your life. So go ahead and make that brainstorm list. And remember, don't worry about whether you're completely comfortable as you do that in these areas. Just in the direction of comfort is all we're looking for with this. And so now we're going to play around with inner dialogue. Now this can be a little tricky. It's sometimes a little hard to even know, what is it I'm saying to myself? But see if you can explore, what do I say to myself when I'm doing this thing that I enjoy, I'm comfortable with? It may be something like, oh, that's going to be great. Or it may be something like, well, it might take a few tries, but I think it'll work out. Or it may even be, well, I hope it works out, but if it doesn't, that's okay too. So in our areas of comfort and confidence, we usually have fairly positive or just neutral voices that say, oh, of course that'll be fine. So go ahead and see if you can play around with what my inner dialogue might be in those areas of my life that I'm comfortable with. And now think about an area of your life where you're really gentle and reassuring with someone or something. It could be an animal, it could be a pet, it could be a child, it could be a friend that you feel really gentle and calming with. And it could really even be plants. Some people who love to tend their gardens really put out a kind energy towards their plants. So you can go ahead and just jot down an area or two of your life where you're just really genuinely calm, reassuring, and kind. And now you can think of someone who's been helpful to you in your life. Maybe once, maybe a lot, that they've been kind, that they've been supportive when the chips were down, or they've been there to cheer you on when things were going well. So jot down anyone that comes to mind who's been that sort of a person in your life. And as I said before, maybe they're not that way all the time because we're human and sometimes we aren't the way we want to be, but they've been that way often enough that you can feel it inside yourself. Also, you may wish to jot down here a person for whom you are a supportive, reassuring, or comforting person. So if there's anybody that you help out by being there for them or being just a good listener, that's another way of kindness. You can write that down too. So for this part, write down anybody who's kind, supportive, or helpful to you, and anybody to whom you're kind, supportive, or helpful. And just take a minute or so for this. Anything that pops into your mind, it might be 1, it might be 5, it doesn't really matter. So we've warmed up the imagination with the kitchen exercise, and the writing exercises have helped us begin to figure out what our personal kind inner voice might be like. Now we return to relaxing and imagining, which is an enhanced learning state. So what we're going to do is a relaxed imagining exercise that'll help you bring your imagination into the creation of your own kind inner voice. And again, the imagination is a powerful way to help us create that. You can go ahead when you're ready and get comfortable, stretch out, put your feet up, and we'll begin. As you begin settling in, just begin by noticing your breath. Take in a slow, full breath and just imagine it fills your whole body right down to your fingers and the bottoms of your feet. And as you breathe out, let yourself relax a little bit. Take in another slow, easy breath. As you exhale, feel your body letting go, your neck and shoulders, your face and hands, your legs. Relaxation is actually an enhanced learning state, so we'll do just a little bit of relaxation. before we move into imagining. You can just take in one more breath, one more soft, full breath. As you let it go, imagine a gentle wave of relaxation rippling from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. As you enjoy the ebb and flow of your breath, whatever rhythm it is just the right rhythm. Imagine with each in-breath, you're breathing in kindness and compassion to yourself for all the times someone spoke to you impatiently or unkindly, or in any angry or blaming ways. Sometimes this brings up emotion, and that's perfectly natural. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, but it is important to acknowledge that those words and energies and attitudes were a part of our experience. And you can also notice any ways in which you might be negative or hurtful or discouraging to yourself. Most likely you'll notice those in the areas of your life that you might struggle. And now imagine that those old hurtful words or energies are like dust or debris. As you draw in an easy full breath, imagine that as you breathe out, a gentle breeze clears them right out of your body, out of your mind, emotions, and spirit. You can imagine that dust or debris just streaming out the door, streaming out into nature where it will be cleansed and cleared and recycled as loving, kind, and understanding attitudes and words. Imagine a slow, soft breath that fills your entire body, scooping up and releasing negativity as you breathe out all that debris as it streams away out the door, out into nature. Imagine, to the best of your ability, whether a little bit or a lot, that you're simply releasing all that. And whether it's very vague or whether it's clear, it's simply an invitation. Another easy full breath in. That gentle breeze continuing to clear away the dust and the debris. And it leaves space within now. And your mind can drift around and find a time when someone was helpful to you. Perhaps a friend, a teacher, a coach, or a relative. It may have been an important situation, or just a brief moment when you felt their caring and support. You may see their face or sense their body language or energy or hear their words. Just tune in to a person or people giving you the sort of support that has inspired you to do your best or has helped you in a difficult situation. You can just take in whatever you see or hear or feel or sense, knowing that this is the sort of encouragement and support that will help you in your life do what you want to do and be who you want to be. And now let a moment come to mind of you giving support and encouragement to another person in a genuine, generous, and heartfelt way. It can be just a simple moment, teaching someone a simple skill, or helping someone who is lost, or being a kind and caring listener. That energy of caring. And just imagine that with each in-breath, you're breathing some of these feelings and energies into yourself. Let them flow in whatever way they do. And as you just enjoy relaxing for another moment, you can just imagine these words, these energies, and these feelings. Take them in and Enjoy the process as long as you'd like. Then when you're ready, you can return to this time and this place. Take all the time you'd like and open your eyes whenever you're ready. So this exercise was much less concrete than the first one with the kitchen, and so for many people it's a little bit of a stretch to really even grasp what we were doing here. So you don't need to look for something really concrete and specific, though some people will get that. You're just looking for a sense and a feeling, because the inner mind really does absorb those little senses and feelings, and even if you don't feel with your conscious logical mind that you understood what you got out of that exercise, if you have a little sense or a feeling of something, that's just what we're looking for here.